Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of All We Do Is Talk. We're going to start it off. We don't do this often, but please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We don't ask a lot, but it would mean a lot to us if you did. I'm here with Isaiah and Moody. How we doing today, guys?
Enjoying vacation, Eric. It's really enjoyable, if not depressing, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, hope y'all all had a great Thanksgiving. How y'all doing? Hope y'all stayed safe during Black Friday because it'd be dangerous out there.
You wilding out, bro.
People wilding out, but we got three great games and two good. We got one good game. We didn't get any good games on Thanksgiving. We got football on Thanksgiving though. We didn't get great games, but we got football, and I enjoyed it. So it didn't matter anyway. And I picked all the winners correctly, so I felt good.
All right, so let's get it cracking. Let's start in New England, where the steaming hot Bill Belichick and Mac Jones Patriots are hosting the Tennessee Titans. The Patriots are 7-point favorites, over under 43.5.
I have a lot of respect for New England, but I think 7 points is way too high for New England to get out, even at home against Tennessee. One, we know that Mike Vrabel has historically owned Bill Belichick when they've gone up against each other. He pulls out his best tricks against him. I know that they're dealing with some injuries on the offensive end, but I think Tennessee's defense is more than good enough to be able to hold down Mac Jones and that offense that I don't think is very talented. Mac Jones has been efficient with the football, but I really don't think that he scares you, especially a Tennessee secondary that's played well all year. Tennessee's ability to run the ball will not be a factor here, I assume, because King Henry, obviously the Adrian Peterson experiment ain't work out.
He's broke, so he's gonna continue to hold up signs that says "We'll tote the rock for food."
Yeah, I don't know why they just won't call Todd Gurley. I just can't imagine why everyone refuses to call Todd Gurley. In the end, I think 7 points is way too much for Tennessee for New England to get over Tennessee. So I'm gonna take Tennessee to cover. What's the over under?
43.5.
43.5. I have over written down, but I'm going to switch that to under. I think if Tennessee's going to cover the spread, this has to be a low-scoring defensive battle.
I disagree. I'm going to go the other way. I just think something about playing in New England this year has New England's streaking right now. They're really hot. Maybe Tennessee has to come back off the bad loss and they're fired up and ready to go, and they were looking ahead maybe. But I just think New England will have the house of tricks going. I think Mac Jones will be effective, and I think the New England defense will carry the load at home. And the weather will probably be bad. It'll probably be windy and or rainy and some other form of precipitation. And I just will take New England going away. I'm going to take New England 28-10, and I think that's also the under, though. I don't think this will be a high-scoring affair.
Yeah, I agree with Moody on this one. I think 7 is too many points to give to the Titans. The Titans get up for good games and they get down for bad games. And I think they'll be ready for this one. I don't know if they'll win this game, but I think they'll definitely keep it within a touchdown. I got Tennessee. And how do you not take the under in New England? How do you not?
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving. We will go to the Toilet Bowl that is happening in Houston, Texas, where the Jets are going to the Texans. The Texans are 2.5-point favorites, over under 44.5.
I feel like every time we talk about the Texans, you started off with the Toilet Bowl. It just feels like a weekly sentence. Yeah, but I think if you're going to find a toilet bowl, this is it. There is an interesting storyline of Zach Wilson supposed to be back and the starter, so at least you will see the number 2 overall pick get out there against not such a ferocious team that he'll look his worst ever. I assume that coming off the knee injury, he'll be a little rusty, but it won't be a disastrous situation. But 2.5 points for a veteran Houston team that's fought hard against bad teams, has shown up and it's fought hard against good teams. I think overall they're a little bit better than the Jets are, and the Jets spiral just going to continue because they're just bad on both sides of the ball with a rookie quarterback who's going to be very rusty coming off a month without playing. So I'll take Houston to cover, and I'll take the under because I'm not going to trust either of these offenses to score a whole lot of points.
Yeah, I expect lots of bad football, mediocre quarterback play, and lots of checkdowns. I took Houston 17-14 because I expect them to cover because I think they have a veteran team while the Jets have a young team. And Moody said it's that simple. Yeah, and that's the under. Nothing more to say. Nothing more to say.
Yeah, book it the under, and I'm gonna go Houston. I think I'm just solely on Tyrod Taylor greater than Zach Wilson.
Yes, at this point.
Yeah, right now. All right, so let's go. This is probably. Let me look at the rest of the slate. Probably my game of the week personally. Tampa Bay heading to Indianapolis. Tampa Bay -3 over under 45.5.
I'm a little surprised that Tampa Bay got 3 points on the road against Indianapolis. Like I think the perception is Tampa Bay's better, but I think if you look over the course of how both these teams have played over the last month or so, I think it's really debatable. The Colts defense has been really, really good. Their run game has been excellent. Unfortunately for Indianapolis, I think the way they play just matches up too poorly with the way the Bucs want to do. The Bucs are an elite run defense. I expect them to be able to at least slow, and they're a bigger, stronger, more stout kind of run defense than the fast gap shooting defense that the Bills play. So I think Tampa Bay's defense will be able to hold up better against Jonathan Taylor, not expecting 200 yards and 5 touchdowns this week at all. And then offensively, the Colts like to sit back in that cover 2, play soft zone, and let the pass rushers get after you. Tom Brady is brilliant at picking that apart, getting the ball out quick. His offensive line's good enough to hold up anyway. So I'll pick Tampa Bay to cover here. I think it's just I think this just in particular isn't a great matchup for the Indianapolis Colts. I expect them to keep the game close, but only 3 points. I think at worst, Tom Brady is getting out of here on a 3-point field goal. So I'll take Tampa Bay to cover and the under because I do think both defenses will play well.
I'm going to disagree again. I think the Indianapolis Colts match up perfectly for Tampa Bay right now. I think this week we'll see that the absence of Vita Vea against a real run team like the Giants are one thing. They're one of the worst running teams in the league. The Colts are the best at the moment running team in the league. I think they're going to run on them. They're going to be the first team to rush for over 100 yards on Tampa Bay. So you could book it. That's my bold prediction right now. I think Quentin Nelson will have a dominant game. And I think Carson Wentz will be safe as long as they're running the ball. And I think Frank Reich will have a good game plan. But I'm more worried about how much pass rush interior-wise that Tampa Bay will let up. I think DeForest Buckner will control this game. The matchup between Darius Leonard and Gronk will probably decide how effective Tampa Bay is on offense. But I took Indianapolis to win outright, 28-24. I think they get the job done, and I think being at home helps. So that's also the under.
I'm going to take Tom Brady. I think that's what TB means. Yeah, not Tampa Bay, Tom Brady. So, yeah, I'm going to take Tampa Bay -3. I think, did they lose? No, they won last week. They're going to build off the win against the Giants. They were getting ready for this game, I believe. And I'm going to take the under of 53. I think that's just a lot, but I think Tampa Bay gets it done and covers the 3. Ooh. All right, let's go to another snooze fest. Atlanta going to Jacksonville. Atlanta is -2 over under 45.5.
This just really isn't interesting. Right, I can't imagine anybody outside of the Atlanta, Jacksonville area, which is like a 2-3 hour radius.
Hey, that's Southeast.
I can't imagine if you're in that area watching this because it's just for Jacksonville, just another opportunity to play a team that's not very good and try to build some confidence for your team. Atlanta is poor at rushing the passer, so you hope Trevor Lawrence has some time to throw the ball. Atlanta's run defense isn't great. Jacksonville's with a surprisingly good run offense this year. James Robinson should be good to go, so you hope that Jacksonville can build some confidence offensively moving the ball. Jacksonville's defense has played well in recent weeks and has been able to slow down some really good offenses. And an Atlanta offense that's struggling with injuries. Cordell Patterson's banged up. Calvin Ridley obviously still missing time. This is a situation where you would think Jacksonville might be able to make some hay here, but with just a 2-point line, I'll take the veteran Atlanta team to find a way to win here just because they know what they're doing and they need these wins more than Jacksonville needs them. So I'll take Atlanta and Matt Ryan to find a way to pull out the win against Jacksonville on the road. They're in Jacksonville.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll take the over.
Yeah, you said it best. Matt Ryan is better than Trevor Lawrence at the moment. and that's what I'm going to bank on. I think Atlanta actually wins going away because I think Jacksonville's just that bad, and they're just that bad. I take Atlanta 28-17, which is still the under. I don't see lots of crazy scoring. There might be some garbage time and some easy scoring by Atlanta on busted plays, but I don't see us getting a great game here. But teams out here trying their hardest to prove that they're not garbage. That's all. And that it's going to be competitive for most of the game. That's all that matters. They'll be out there fighting, but easy. Atlanta easily, and I'll take the under.
I'll take Atlanta as well. I just think they're more experienced and the more experienced quarterback. I'll take the over as well with the 45.5. I think Jacksonville will score just enough to hit that over.
We're hoping Atlanta does a lot of carrying for that. That's what we're hoping.
Yeah. All right, so let's go to Isaiah's game where Philly is coming to town. The Giants are plus 3.5 over under 45.5.
Well, I mean, another game where the Giants will be without Mr. Sterling Shepard. He hasn't played in about a month now, maybe. Kadarius Toney is doubtful. Saquon Barkley and Andrew Thomas look like they're good to go, and Kenny Galladay hasn't been on the injury report, so they'll have some pieces out there. Slayton's back. We've got the Eagles coming in. They're hot. Have they won 4 of their last 5?
Yeah, they're 500. They were like 2-5. Now they're 500, so they're doing pretty good.
They are playing a 4th place schedule. They haven't really beaten anybody, with the exception of that good win that they had against
New Orleans. Is probably the best one they had at that stretch. It hasn't been impressive.
And the Giants haven't really beaten anybody this year either. They've beaten the same team that the 10 teams that the Eagles have beaten: Carolina, New Orleans,
Vegas.
They've all beaten the same teams, and I'm sure we're going to get a good game because, last year we had the situation with the benching of Jalen Hurts at the end of the season that let Washington football team get into the playoffs. So I expect the Giants defense to come out fiery and playing really tough and physical. First game for Freddie Kitchens. We'll see how he does. The last time he took over as an interim play caller, he did a decent job. He got him a head coaching job. But I think this will be a pretty boring, sloppily played NFC East football game. I took the Giants, of course, 28-24, hit the over because it's an NFC East game, so it's going to be crazy shit happening. I think our weapons will win against that defense. I'm interested. Philly's trenches do scare me. They could easily take over the game with pass rush or just mauling our front and running the ball. But I think it'll be bad football around, come down to the final possession, who has the ball last. I pick the Giants because, of course, I'm a Giants fan.
All right, we have Pittsburgh going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati minus 3.5, over under 44.5.
I guess the most exciting thing the NFL had done with the schedule this year is that they backloaded all the divisional games. And so we're about to get a long stretch of those. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, they played earlier this year. Cincinnati won comfortably 24-10, I think. Joe Mixon had a really good day, had a hard time guarding Jamar Chase. But I think TJ Watt was out in that one. I do think they are expecting TJ Watt to be back in this one. They activated Minka off the COVID list. Ben Roethlisberger obviously is back as well. Pittsburgh's got most of their team out there ready to go, going against a Cincinnati team that's also healthy, coming off of a win. I'm expecting a really, really good, physical, tough AFC North football game here. Cincinnati being favored by 4, I guess it's kind of fair considering they beat them last time and they're coming off the win. Pittsburgh's coming off a loss. But I think Pittsburgh, as a veteran playoff experienced team that knows how to get the job done in these big games, I think they'll be able to not only keep the game close, I do think they can win the game. I'll take Pittsburgh to cover here on the road against Cincinnati. I think their defense with TJ Watt and Minka and all those guys available will show up and play really, really well, keep the scoring down. Ben Roethlisberger will do enough to keep the team in it. So I'll take Pittsburgh to cover and the under.
Yeah, I expect a brutally physical AFC, a classic AFC North game. The things I question, I don't know if how Pittsburgh is gonna stop Cincinnati's receivers, but I don't know how Cincinnati's gonna block Pittsburgh effectively all game, and I don't know how effective Pittsburgh's offense is gonna be. Basically, I took a 24-20 game and I went with Cincinnati because I just think they have more talent and they've shown that they rise to the occasion in big games. And I just don't know. I can't predict how Pittsburgh can win these games because they're going to need crazy things to occur for me to pick Pittsburgh.
You doubt crazy things happening for Pittsburgh?
I just can't predict crazy things.
Well, it ain't at Pittsburgh, so we're straight. Yeah, I'm going to take Cincinnati as well. I think they're a good team, honestly. And mainly against Pittsburgh, like the things that Isaiah brought up, I don't know how they're going to score unless they get some turnovers for short field, or it's always a question mark for them, like if and when they're going to score. And I'll take the under of 44.5.
Yeah, I took the under as well.
I also took the under. You know, Pittsburgh scored 37 last week, right?
Lots of crazy
37.
Shit. Lots of crazy shit.
Keep down Pittsburgh. The referees will take care of it.
But all right, so let's go to Denver, where the Chargers are coming to town. Chargers are 2.5 point favorites, over under 47.5.
Surprised that number's low, 2.5.
I think this is Denver's last stand. That's what I'm defining this game as. Denver's last chance to show that they are an actual contender, and that's why I think it's gonna be a great game. I think it's gonna be the most underrated game of the slate. We always see Chargers and Denver games are always interesting, dating all the way back to the Jay Cutler, Phillip Rivers days. And I take an exciting 30. And the Chargers defense is a little mediocre, while I think Denver's offense, that's going to help Denver's offense. Because I think the Chargers offense will move the ball because they're good. But I think the Chargers defense is bad enough where Denver could take advantage and move the ball with their playmakers. So I took Chargers in a shootout, 35-28. So I'll take the Chargers to cover, take the over. I think we're going to get a great game here.
If my memory serves me correct, isn't Staley from the Banjo tree?
Something like that. Yeah.
I think so. Like that's gonna be a nice little teacher versus student type of matchup there. I think both of these teams match up really well with each other. Denver's ability to run the ball against the Chargers is going to be huge for them to stay in the game here. Chargers love to play that too high safety look. Teddy Bridgewater is happy to take the underneath stuff, nickel and dime you all the way down the field. Let Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams handle the load there. For the Chargers offensively, I think their receivers, they just have so much talent at the receiver position that they're going to stress Denver's ability to play man-to-man, straight man-to-man coverage. And if they can't get pressure on Justin Herbert, which they struggled to do since Von Miller was traded, they're going to have a hard time being able to overcome.
Bradley Chubb will be back though.
Oh, Bradley Chubb will be back. That's a huge lift for Denver, who they absolutely needed. I do expect the game to be close, but with just a 2.5 point spread, I'll take LAC to win in the cover. I think it'll be a tight game for late, come down to the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, but I'll take the better quarterback to win the close game, and I'll take the over. I think both of these teams find a way to move the ball.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers and the over as well. I think this is a game that the Chargers try to get back on track a little bit more within the division. It's a big game for both teams. Both teams trying to catch up to the Chiefs But yeah, I'm taking the
And
Chargers.
match the Vegas win. And match
Over.
Vegas' win.
Yeah. So let's continue. Minnesota going to the West Coast to see the 49ers. 49ers -3 over under 49.
Is the interesting one where the East kind of team, Midwest team, go all the way out to the West. That's new for the time difference. These are two teams that I think are pretty similarly matched in terms of talent. Both teams have good, not great quarterbacks, good, not great run games, good, not great. I say the Vikings have great receiving weapons. The Niners pass catching weapons are very good, very, very good. Defensively, both teams are built up front. They want to play coverage. They don't want to blitz a lot. They want to have their linebackers and D tackles handle the run game without having to put a lot of pressure on the other offense at the quarterback position. Both of these teams are playing relatively well. Minnesota's won 2 in a row, good wins against the Chargers and the Packers. And San Francisco, they look like they bounced their season back. They beat the Rams and they beat who did they beat last week? Jacksonville. They handled Jacksonville really, really well. Both teams look healthy. It's the rare occasion where teams are getting healthier as the season goes on. I like San Francisco here, mostly because they're at home. I think the run game will be able to handle, keep Kirk Cousins off the field and keep Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen from being able to torch their secondary, which is what I expect they'll be able to do if they get too many extra possessions. And Jimmy Garoppolo's been playing good football. Deebo Samuel has been causing problems for a lot of secondaries who can't tackle specifically, and I think the Viking secondary does struggle to do that. So I'll take San Francisco to cover here, and I'll take the under.
Like the prior few games, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, Chargers, Denver. This is another game with lots of talented young players getting added. I like the front for San Francisco's. I like them to win their matchup against Minnesota, which is why I'm leaning towards taking San Francisco. I think this will be a more long possession, short game where both teams are running the ball a lot. I expect decent running from both sides. And I took San Francisco 24-20 because I just think Kyle Shanahan will win his matchup against Mike Zimmer, and his front on defense will win their matchup against the Minnesota Vikings offensive line. I think they'll pressure Kirk Cousins like they did in the playoff game they played a couple years back in the divisional round.
And as we know, Minnesota's missing both of their edges. Hunter out for the season. Griffin, we're praying for you, buddy, but he's also out with the mental health stuff.
And so I guess San Francisco will get the inside track for that first to be the 6th team to start looking to get that 6th spot in the NFC, because it's a good NFC win I think they'll get.
Yeah, I'm going to go San Francisco as well. I think they're going to do well. I think also the being at home playing. Well, they're not playing at 1:00, but still, I think Deebo Samuel will still make some explosive plays in this game. Hopefully, Brandon Ayuk makes a couple as well. Yeah, but the win by 3, lose by 3. Moody, I'm surprised you didn't go with the Vikings. Yeah, I'll take San Francisco in the under. I do think this is going to be a slow, methodical game as well.
Yeah.
All right, Mike
Zimmer loves it like that.
Let's move on to Fox's game of the week. The Los Angeles Rams are heading to the frozen tundra of Green Bay. Green Bay is favored by 2 over under 47.
A huge playoff implication type of matchup here. If LAR wants any chance at their division and the 1 seed, this is pretty much a must-win for them. Going on the road against Aaron Rodgers, who's clearly not 100% with that COVID/broken/ turf, whatever is going on with his toe. It's clearly fucked up. It's clearly set back the Green Bay Packers offense. Aaron Jones has also been beat up. He might be back on Sunday. I'm not sure if he'll be back, but he definitely won't be 100% if he is. A.J. Dillon's been fine filling in, but he doesn't provide the same explosive plays that Aaron Jones provides. For the Rams, coming off the bye week, the rough loss against Tennessee and San Francisco, they should be a team that should be well prepped. Sean McVay has a good reputation coming off the bye week. Going to Green Bay, you think they'll be able to lean into their run game. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. Matthew Stafford has more than enough experience playing at Lambeau Field, especially at this time of the year. It shouldn't be that much of a change for him in terms of his ability to prep and all that stuff. His arm strength is more than good enough. I just don't know if the rest of the team will be up to snuff to be able to go handle this cold weather game in Green Bay. I guess the Green Bay defense that up until last week had been playing really well, but that was in a dome. This is in Lambeau in November. It's going to be cold. It's going to be hardcore. It's going to be very physical. I'll take Green Bay to cover, and I'll take the under.
I'm gonna have to disagree again. I technically get a second. I earned the reward of getting a lock for Sunday, and I'm just gonna lock it in. I'm gonna take LAR, and I don't think it's gonna be close. I think an injured Aaron Rodgers and a hurt Elton Jenkins, along with David Bakhtiari still being out, just means that Aaron Donald and Von Miller could do their job on defense, and I think the Rams will be good enough on offense. Coming off a bye, they need this game. I think that helps too, that they're coming off a bye, and Green Bay is actually coming off of playing a hard-fought game. So I'm going to take the Rams to win 35-20, hit the over. I think Aaron Rodgers will keep him in the game long enough, but I just think this is not things are broke right for the Rams for this game.
I actually have Green Bay in this game. I just think LA boys being in Wisconsin in November, they're gonna get a little cold up there, get a little.
Odell's not known to play good up there. Odell's not known to play good up there.
Yeah, exactly. So
take him on a boat trip, Odell. Get him warmed up.
You already probably did there in LA.
So I'm gonna take the leading MVP front runner right now, Aaron Rodgers with the -2 at home, and I want to take the over of 47 so bad, but I'll take the under. All right, let's move on to Sunday Night Football. Cleveland at Baltimore. Baltimore -3.5, over under 47.5.
For whatever reason, Baker Mayfield's still going out there and playing. They're not even listing him on the injury report with a game designation. Like I don't know what he's trying to.
He's in a contract year.
Yeah, and he's proving in his contract year that he ain't worth the contract because he can't play with all these injuries.
Well, if he doesn't play, he's not going to earn it anyway.
Well, so. If you can get 2 weeks of rest, maybe you can go earn it.
It's too late for that now.
He should have gotten it a month ago. Right now, it is ugly for Cleveland in that offense, but Nick Chubb is back and healthy. They activated Kareem Hunt today off of IR. Jack Conklin off of IR as well. So I expect we will see a much different Cleveland team that we'll be seeing over the last couple of weeks because I don't think Baker Mayfield will be asked to do a whole lot. I expect Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt to do most of the heavy lifting on the offensive end and keep Cleveland in a tight competitive football game. I think this will be shit game part 2 without Lamar Jackson having to leave, hopefully, but he's been dealing with illness, so who knows. Baltimore got a really, really tough, gritty win against Chicago last week without Lamar. Going to this one, I think Baltimore will find a way to get the job done against a Cleveland team that is in desperate need of a win, but Lamar being back, being healthy after a week off, I think will be too much for them to overcome on Cleveland's defensive end. I don't trust Cleveland's defense to be able to hold it down well enough. I'll take Baltimore to win and the over in the best Sunday Night Football game we've probably had in a while.
I agree. I think it's gonna be a great game between Cleveland and Baltimore, and I just can't pick injured Baker Mayfield to do anything to overcome what Lamar will be doing for his team. Cleveland's the better team, but I think they're not so much far and away better than Baltimore that Lamar, the X factor of having Lamar to carry his team, will make that gap even closer. So I'll take Baltimore in a shootout 35-28. I think Lamar will look great. I think Nick Chubb will be amazing. He has been really good running the ball against that Ravens scheme. Conklin back is really good for running the ball. They've got their interior still going. So I think it'll be a good game. So I'll take Baltimore and I'll take the over though.
Yeah, I'm taking Baltimore easily here. I think just with a healthy Lamar, hurt Baker. Baker hasn't looked good with these injuries at all. I'll take the under of 47 as well. So let's move to Monday Night Football, where Seattle's coming to the East Coast to play the Washington football team. Washington's favorited -1, over under 46.5.
It's desperate time in the NFL this year. It's desperate time, man. Every matchup you see on the schedule is between two teams that's like, man, if we don't get out of here, it's gonna be tough. And I expect that to be reflected in the game we see on Monday. I expect an ugly, sloppy, playoff type environment football game, especially they're in Washington, right? In November. That it's going to be windy as hell, probably get some rain too. It's going to be ugly. I expect Washington football team to get the win here. I think I don't really trust Seattle's offense with Russell Wilson and that finger to be able to do a whole lot of damage against a Washington football team defense that has picked it up. Seattle's defense is okay. It's nothing that really scares you as well. Taylor Heineke and the Washington football team offense, Scott Turner. They figured out a good scheme where they run the ball, find a way to get into third and manageable. Taylor Heineke has been fantastic on third downs all year, which is another place where Seattle defense struggles. So I'm going to take Washington football team to get the job done here at home against a struggling Seattle team who probably are – this will probably be the straw that breaks the camel's back of their season. Hopefully it doesn't piss Russell Wilson off too much that he's want to get out of there, but we'll see. I'll take Washington football team to get the win here and the under.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is the last stand for Seattle, and I think Washington football team puts the final nail in their coffin this week. I took Washington football team 31-28. It's hard to play in that field in wintertime, so we know the field's going to be messy. The weather's going to be messy, and I don't like Seattle's defense to stop Washington's weapons. They're getting back Logan Thomas, so they're going to have more weapons. Washington's been running the ball with both running backs. Gibson, he fumbles a little bit with McKissick doing some third down work, and I expect the match Terry McLaurin to win the matchup in between him and DK Metcalf, two guys from the same draft class. And yeah, I think pressure on Pete Carroll turns up, and he might lose his job before Matt Nagy now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think Russell Wilson's healthy yet. I think he rushed back, and with a Washington defense that has picked it up, that's going to be a tough matchup for him. So I will as well take the Washington football team -1 and 46.5. I'll take the under in that as well.
All right, and I already said my bold prediction was that the Tampa Bay would give up 100 yards to Jonathan Taylor. Anything else bold for y'all?
I will give Lamar Jackson 3 rushing touchdowns on Sunday night.
Where was it? Oh, Deebo Samuel has 2 touchdowns catching and a touchdown rushing against Minnesota.
All right, then. Enjoy the football. Catch you later, Eric.
Have a nice holiday, folks.